hello to anyone watching this. My name is Remy, and I was bored and decided to make a top 10 Fire Emblem units. I'm going with Fire Emblem 5, Thracia 776, because no one else has made a list, or I just haven't seen one. And for those who haven't played Thracia and are watching this for some reason, then just take this as a recommendation for units to use once you get around to playing FE5. And a little disclaimer, there will be no Galzus and Sed/Seti, whichever name you prefer, in this list, since putting them on here wouldn't really be fair, since they're already good. With that out of the way, let's get this list started. Number 10, we'll start this off with Pawn. Pawn is an amazing unit with great skills, great growths, great bases, just great everything all around. I'll explain. Now for those who don't know and are watching this because you haven't played Thracia, rogues in FE5 have Vantage. And Vantage in FE5 is kind of broken. You always go first. This also goes to Wrath. You always crit on counter. Pawn also has Soul on him, meaning he'll be able to heal whenever he's fighting its enemies. The greatest thing of interest here is that he comes with the King's Sword. Really good sword, it's like a brave sword, but also has the skill Charisma on it. Very important skill, because you can give it to Leaf and basically make everyone in your army dodge. Last thing to note here is that he has a PCC of 5, and like I said, I'll explain this to people who haven't played Thracia. PCC is basically like your chance to crit whenever you're about to double. As in, if you have a PCC of 2, whenever you're going to hit, your crit rate increases by 20%. And 5 is the highest it go, meaning Pawn has a 50% chance to crit when he's doubling. And he's also got 5 movement stars, meaning he has a 25% chance to move again. The reason I place him at number 10 is because while he's an excellent unit, he's more or less someone you would just use as a dodge tank to avoid heavy hitting units. Is that he'll be on the front lines, yeah, but he'll most likely just be there to distract enemies. Rogues aren't really meant to take out Armor Knights or Barons. Also, he's kind of a pedo, but other than that, he's a pretty good unit, which is why I've put him at number 10. Also, small word of advice, recruit him with Lara. That's how you'll get your Dancer. Number 9, we've got Salem/Caculin of the Lycan, the first ever Dark Mage in the series. People may question me on this and argue Salem is bad, however I disagree. While he is limited to only 2 Dark Tomes in FE5, he does gain a small advantage in which he can use staves. While it's only C rank, on promotion it'll be B rank, and if you use him to heal or use the sleep staff, it might have even reached A rank at that point. This is due to how important staves are in Fire Emblem 5, especially warp staves. You can use them to sometimes beat maps in one turn. That's what I did on Reinhardt's chapter, as long as you don't miss, of course. And due to Salem having the ability to use staves, he'll come out as a great helper to your army. A small downside to Salem, as I mentioned before, is that he only has access to 2 Dark Tomes, Fenrir and Yatsmuk. However, this may not be a problem for those who are trying to one-turn certain chapters or just do an LTC play, and his growth can easily be fixed if you give him the Heim Scroll or the Seti Scroll, making him a solid healer and a fighter. Number 8, there's Othin. Fighters in Fire Emblem 5 are great. Othin is a basic unit in the beginning, but what makes him so good is 2 things: Wrath and Poogie! Like Vantage, Wrath in FE5 always triggers on counterattack, making Othin an extremely good unit already, and his own personal axe, the Poogie. Basically a killer hand axe with 6 uses. He's a very deadly unit, for the most part, will be one-rounding enemies on enemy phase. His growth may not be good, but him critting along with a PCC of 3, and the fact that he promotes him to hero makes him unstoppable. Except with magic. He'll still be better than Havan though. Number 7 is Shiva, the most mysterious Navarre of them all. He's got a PCC of 4, so he's already someone you want to use. He's got the skill Soul on him as well, so he can heal, along with 2 movement stars. There really isn't much to him, or what you see is what you get. He'll most likely turn out to be one of your best units in the end game. Just give him a bunch of killing edges of critting more than Rucker. And take a look at my Shiva. Look at it. Perfect. Number 6 will be Sarah, the one true S to this game, not Miranda, because she's garbage. Now let's start with the fact that Sarah has an 80% growth in magic, speed, and skill. She also got the skills Wrath and Miracles, so she won't be killed, and also has Paragon on her, meaning she's basically gonna level up every time she heals, or just gets a kill, or just does anything. When she promotes, she also gets Adept, meaning she'll be able to, like, double more than she could possibly do ever. She's essentially going to be like one of your godly magic users. You also need her for rescuing Abel in the Gaiden chapter. Also, she's Manfoy's granddaughter. You know, what would happen to her after the end of FE4? Like, her ending just said she disappeared, but like, what's going to happen to her? Isn't she like the last member of the Lopter cult technically? Do people hate her? I don't know. Maybe if a remake happens, they'll explain or elaborate on it a bit more. Number 5, Dean. Ah yes, Dean. The first male Wyvern rider in the series. Dean is an average pre-promote at first glance. However, looking at him again, you'll see his very high bases that are very close to being maxed out. A good PCC of 3, and some decent growths. However, he comes with a Dane scroll, which increases his defense growth to 70%. So he's gonna be your tank, your taxi tank, if anything, because he'll be carrying people around too. He also has a unique lance to him, the Dragon Pike. It works like a Brave Lance, and that's the advantage skill on it too. If Dean ever has to go indoors, then he's already prepared, as he has A-Ring and swords too. He comes with a Silver Blade. However, dismounting for him is a major flaw, since the last 3 maps in the game are all indoor maps, and that he loses a lot of defense once he dismounts. However, he's still a good unit. I'd say he's possibly the best Wyvern Knight in the series. Also, I got a theory that Dean was in FE4 with Arion, since he helped him back home. That's just me. Alright, number 4. Marita. Marita's godly. She's got a PCC of 5, so she's already good. She has her own personal weapon, similar to the Dragon Pike, but instead of advantage, it gives the Aware skill, so she's immune to all other skills and critical attacks. She has an amazing growth to make up for some of her stats that seem to start out weak, like how she has a base strength of 3, but 60% strength and 75 in skill, 80 in speed, and 16 luck can all make up for that. She even has the skill Luna, and will eventually learn the Astra skill from Shannon. This was just one of my favorite scenes, honestly, due to how Shannon just said random shit, and it worked. But basically, Marita is just great, and worth reusing, and will catch up quickly if you give her the Elite Sword. I should mention that having a high PCC means you'll most likely be an extremely good unit. Number 3, Rich, Homie, Asvel. Asvel may look weak at first, has an average PCC of 3, but mages, with the exception of Miranda, are fucking busted in Thracia. Not only that, but Asvel has his own personal tome, the Graph Caliber, with a might of 13, 100% hit rate, and 40% crit rate. Asvel could just rely on this, but there's more than that. You see, sages get the greatest promotion bonuses ever, in my opinion at least. On promotion, Asvel will gain 5 magic, 5 skill, 6 speed, and 4 defense. He'll most likely cap his speed and skill on that promotion. He also excels in wind magic, and wind tomes are possibly the best tomes in Thracia as well. Whenever you play Thracia for the first time, or again, stock up on wind tomes. It'll help you immensely. The only real downside to Asvel is that he only has Adept. You can give him skills like Soul or Luna, but they're extremely limited and better off for someone else. Asvel may not even need skills when he's got wind tomes. He's someone you'll definitely use till endgame. Number 2, Homer. Another mage who promotes into Sage. Why is he better than Asvel when you get him later, you may ask? Well, he has better growths, Paragon, and you can use Light Magic, and has a PCC of 5. There really isn't much other to say other than that he's just good with some high growths and speed, skill, and luck, so he'll be critting and dodging pretty much all the time, and when he promotes, he can use staves. Granted, it's only D-Rig, but hey, he can heal. Also, he just does not give a single fuck. He's the coolest fucking bard, coolest fucking flirt in the entire series, in my opinion. Number 1. Some of you may have already guessed it from the beginning. Fergus. Where do I begin? Fergus is just the best, in my opinion. You get him in Chapter 4. He may have some average bases, stat growths, but it's movement and PCC that make him go on top, among other things too. Since he's a horse unit, he'll have to dismount indoors, but Fergus suffers the least from this as he only loses 1 point of defense, so he's still helpful in castle maps. He comes with no skills, but is definitely someone you want to give skills to. Or not. He can just rely on his PCC and a Brave Sword, or any sword for that matter, to get kills. He can even use the Beo Sword, because his father is apparently Beowulf from Fire Emblem 4. You'll get it from Delmon, and that sword will make Fergus even more unstoppable than he already is, as it has the skills Vantage and Wrath on it. The skills don't work at the same time, which is dumb, but Fergus will always attack first, and have a higher crit rate, so it's still good use. He also got some Holy Blood in him apparently, because he can use the Blade of Bloggy. I want someone to investigate into this. My theory is that when Beowulf got a little busy with the princess at Kanud, she had a little holy blood in her, which Fergus inherited, which is why you can use the Blade of Bloggy. I think she had Nova holy blood in her, but that's just me, which can possibly make Fergus a relative to Leaf. And now I'll wrap up this top 10 I made. I'll be putting some of the honorable mentions in the comments below, and if you liked my video for whatever reason, then subscribe if you want to. I might do more in the future. I'm mainly doing this as a hobby, but if you want me to do more lists like these, then I'll do them. And as I stated in the beginning, use this video as a little recommendation of what units you should use in Thracia.